So this is the iPhone 16 Pro, and this is the smaller variant of the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and it's a 6.3 inch size, which is all new. It's mostly done through the bezels. In this episode, we're going to unbox this all new white titanium version and help you understand all you need to know in its first impressions. And if this is something that might be for you, we'll do some comparisons at the end. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and this is one of the ones that I'm excited about because we haven't really seen a 6.3 inch iPhone ever. 6.9 is nice as well, that's new as well, but 6.3, you might think this might be the sweet spot here. I did go with the white titanium, and this is iPhone 16 Pro, UPC codes, no real specifications on the box, and I already peeled the box stickers off, but you can see here is the brand new iPhone 16 Pro, and I got it in the white titanium, which is a classic silver color with a white backing. Let's go ahead and peel the front off, and we'll go ahead and do that, and you'll see I'm going to go ahead and boot this thing up. First impressions is it feels like a slightly bigger iPhone 15 Pro, so the smaller iPhone 15 Pro. Inside the box, we don't really get anything drastically new. This is a USB-C to USB-C cable, no Apple stickers in there or nothing like that. This does have 8 gigabytes of RAM on the iPhone 16 Pro. In addition, this also does have the Apple A18 Pro chip, which is better than the A18 in the base model. 120Hz display, 48 megapixel ultra wide, and 48 megapixel standard wide. And this phone also does have 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is the same as last year. So it also comes with the similar action button as last year, but now adds a capture button by the camera section. So this is also going to be a nice touch if you want to zoom in or just click photos with that button right there. So that's going to be a nice touch as well. So this is basically just a smaller version of the one that I unboxed yesterday, the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And you see, as we go through the setup process, they do show you that you have an action button. And this is important because a lot of people upgrading still might have not had an iPhone experience with the action button, which allows you to add things like translate to this button over here. You can recognize over here music. You can use voice memos, the torch, which is where I like to leave it, and more. Also, the all new camera control here is on the side, and they're showing you a little visual right here. If you hit continue, you can click this down and take a photo, hold it for video. You can also use the capacitive slider over there to go ahead and slide and zoom. So that's a nice touch as well. Now you might be thinking, is this a new Siri? Is this a new Siri? And the answer is no, because these iPhone 16s didn't launch exactly with Apple Intelligence. That's in the beta version of iOS 18.1. But as we swipe in here, you'll see we do have a nice 6.3 inch screen. And how Apple's achieving this is not really on height and the size of the phone. It's more like they're stretching the bezels. Now, this can feel a little bit too big though if you have problems already with side to side. That's one of the cons I'm noticing already. It's not really a height thing. They're not way taller than before. But because they're stretching out the bezels, if you already had troubles before with the side-to-side action, these phones might feel a little too big this year for you. So you might want to go with something older like a 15 Pro or even a 16 this year if you want something a little bit smaller. So by default, you do have to go into the wallpapers. If you want those ones you see on the box and stuff like that, you got to go to the collections area of wallpapers, and you'll see we have the matching wallpapers for the natural titanium, desert, and this will be the white version right here. So this is the wallpaper we're going to set for this phone. In addition, they do have the dynamic iOS 18 wallpapers, which will dynamically change depending on dark or light mode for your day-to-day. Personally, I'm going to leave it here for this mode for now, and we'll put it on a light wallpaper when we compare this to other phones later. But we are looking at an OLED display. Again, this is 120 Hertz and it gets 2000 nits peak, 1000 nits typical. So there are some phones that are actually now getting brighter than this phone on your standard brightness, which means your ability to raise it up by yourself. Some competing phones are actually getting brighter than the iPhone now. So that's just something to know, but it still looks plenty sharp. It's still like 460 PPI. And I'm loving this size. I think this might be the perfect size iPhone. As a matter of fact, this size almost feels like a 6.5 inch iPhone of the past, mostly because it's stretching it to the edge here. So it kind of just has that kind of feel. Like it's not too big, not too small. Some people will think this is too big though, because 6.1 was already stretching for some. Some thought the 5.8 was the perfect. So it really just comes down to your hand size. If you got a big hand like I do, this is not a problem. But if you got a small hand, this might be an issue for you. So I encourage you to go ahead and check these out at the store before you purchase, especially if you're worried about the size. If you're not, just go ahead and order it. You know, if you're going to order it anyway. But if you're worried about the size, I do encourage you to check it out to see if you can reach the corners and side to side before taking the leap. Especially check the Max. If you were going with the Max, that one is a huge device. Go check it out beforehand, because you might be in it for a rude awakening if you didn't want a super huge phone in your pocket or a huge display. I think the big question here is the size. So let me show you what I'm talking about with this 16 Pro. I'm going to do some separate size comparisons likely, but I told you the XS Max, 6.5 inch, 11 Pro Max. This is nearly identical in size, but with a more manageable body. So you can see the only thing that's really making the 6.5 inch phone look a little bit bigger is those thick bezels. This is close. This is very, very close to a 6.5. It's not really changing the experience. These thick bezels make this look a little bigger. And technically, the XS Max is a little bit of a bigger display. But at the same time, you're getting a phone that is nearly that size with a more comfortable body, but it still might be too big if you guys are into something more the 6.1, 5.8 inch route. So let's go ahead and take a look at this compared to their other phone, the ultramarine iPhone 16. So you can see holding it is not drastically different. So I think if you can manage holding the, I think if you can manage holding the iPhone 16, you could probably manage the Pro. But there is a little bit less width, and the 16 is much lighter. This weighs 199 grams, so it's a little bit heavier than this phone right here for sure. Let's take a look at it against last year's iPhone 15 Pro, which I thought was a really nice size. And again, it's not way off here, but that little bit of an extra thinner bezel on the iPhone 16 Pro makes the reach side to side a little bit worse. It really does. Although it makes it look more beautiful, if you ask me. But this is definitely going to be nothing like a iPhone mini. If you love the iPhone mini, shout outs to you. I really love this product. I don't know if they're bringing back something like this ever again. So it's a sad time. The iPhone 13 mini is gone for good. What about the Galaxy S24? It's pretty much in line with that phone. That's a 6.2. So these are pretty much in line. Both have triple cameras, both premium builds, kind of feel the same on the sides. Pretty much in line here with the Galaxy S24 in the size. So I think most people who can handle a 6.1, 6.2 should be fine here. But again, it's going to be slightly bigger feeling than those previous models. All right, so let's take a look at some of the camera features. So you can set up the photographic styles over here, as you can see right there. In addition, let me back it out. You do have the camera capture button now, so you can hold right here to go ahead and slide the zoom. You can also click for a photo, hold down for a video. You can also use this in the video mode to snap videos like that. So a fun new way to use the iPhone right there in the camera. This also has a slightly larger battery than even the base model 16 and a bigger battery than the prior iPhone 15 Pro. So this should be a great year for battery life on the iPhones, and I don't think this one is going to be any issue whatsoever. So I do really like that they're improving the battery across the lineup. In addition, I forgot to mention in my Max video that these phones now have a 4K 120 hertz, which is insane. I've never seen mainstream phones with that feature on there. So pretty nice. Definitely if you want to do some slow-mo and stuff like that, this can be pretty cool. They also have spatial video recording for the Vision Pro. However, it's capped at 1080-30, which is a very low quality by today's standards. If you're looking for a high quality image or high quality video, 4K, 8K, that's the top of the line. So they're just getting started here. So I'm guessing they're going to get a little bit better with that in the future. But having that ultra wide and 48 megapixels means that your ultra wide photos will now start matching your main photos. So these ones, when you get up close, we'll start matching those, which is a really good thing. We have a more consistency here across the cameras. Although I wish they would really upgrade that front-facing camera. Like, why are we still on 12 megapixels? we've been on 12 megapixels forever. I know it looks good still. iPhone cameras typically do look good, but we've been on 12 megapixels forever. So let's get an upgrade on that front camera as well. So let's wrap it up here. This one is 128 gigs to start, and it starts at like $9.99. So that's not a lot of storage for that price, 128 gig. You want to go to 256 if you wanted to go a little bit further, or you're going to have to use a lot of iCloud storage or transfer things off when it gets too full if you want to mess around with that. But at the end of the day, I'm really loving this size. I think this is a sweet spot now. 6.3, and it stretches to the edge more. It's not really making it a much bigger feel on the hand versus the 6.1, but giving you a little bit of a larger display. This is a manageable, nice size for day to day, especially if you have a pretty big hand. If you want something smaller though, there's not a lot of small options anymore. But let me know what you want to see on the iPhone 16 Pro going forward. I think this is a nice option still. I'm not sure it'll be the most popular, but I think the Plus on the base models will be pretty popular, as well as the Max, because everybody always wants, well, not everybody, but a lot of people do want the best of the best Apple has to offer. So that one's going to be probably very popular. Yeah, but I definitely am digging this one. Let me know your thoughts on this one down below, and stay tuned for more speed tests against the iPhone 16 Pro, Pro Max, and the 16. And we should be covering the 16 Plus sometime next week, or maybe a little after that. So be subscribed. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.